Hello everyone. This would be a very spur of the moment video, but you know what, I'm doing another valve job and a lot of other services, but I've already done most of them on this bike. But you know what, might as well do up a live stream. I haven't done one in a while. Hopefully you guys have seen that video that I did, that one with the disco ball. I had a lot of fun with that video. So if you got some questions or whatever, throw them up. I will, every once in a while, I'll get up and go have a look at the computer to see what kind of questions are coming in, anything that you guys might have as concern. Let me know if the music's too loud. I'm playing music in here today, and it's quiet in here right now, but the mic might be picking it up at a level that is uncomfortable for some. So I'll go take a look at that thing right now. I'm going to get my oil pan for this so I can open this up and get going on it. Alright, I see the music volume is alright, so I'll just leave it where it's at. I did turn it down just a little tick. So, you guys know what this bike is. Of course, this is the LT, but this is a very special LT. This LT, I have worked on this LT for years, and you guys are going to see this one coming up in another video. I'm actually making a video even right now as we speak, not just this video that's live that's going out there right now, but I am also, there's a camera that is right behind this camera, and it is filming live. What I'm doing over there on that one though is a time lapse, so it's recording all the work that I've done on this bike. Anyways, about this bike, this is an 05. It's got about I don't even remember. It's like 58,000 miles or something on it. And I've worked on this bike for years, doing just about every upgrade imaginable to it. Everything is on this bike is done. I actually purchased this bike from the owner, and my intention as of right now, unless this bike is so awesome that I just have to keep it, I'm going to sell it. I bought it to sell. The reason the guy wanted to sell it was he was going to be getting a K1600, and you know, made me an offer I couldn't refuse. One of the things that were wrong with the bike, another part of the reason that he was selling it, was it had a massive oil leak. It had a massive leak in the rear main seal. That O-ring back there, it was just square when I took it out. So and it just puked oil. Like, I think it kind of just filled up the whole bell housing with oil. The thing was completely soaked. It was actually quite clean when I pulled it out, and you'll see it on the video when it gets edited and gets out there eventually. But normally there's a lot of you know, clutch material inside the bell housing, on the clutch carrier and everything, caked onto the transmission. This thing was completely clean because it had been washed so thoroughly with oil. I really just had to use some brake cleaner to just kind of rinse it down. Anyway, all new clutch, everything's good to go on this thing. If I can think of just some of the things that have been done to this bike that are, you know, like the specialty services, like of course it's got the brake lines on it. It has the HyperPro springs on here. Now it has a new clutch. It's going to get a valve service. What else? I think this, I have to go through the records, but I think that this thing has a John Jemmy chip in it. One thing that I didn't do, because you guys know how I feel about the radios on this, but the previous owner did, is he put in a stereo in here. He actually had the stereo reworked because it, you know, typical failure on the LT, you know, the amp goes out. So he put a different amp in it, and you know, in the original radio had that thing rebuilt, and the radio works perfect on this thing. Another service that was done on this bike that is just massive plus is the final drive was redone by the legendary Dave Selvig. Those of you guys out there who are on the LT forums, you guys might know who Dave Selvig is, also known as Saddleman. He's a legend when it comes to working on the final drives. I don't work on the final drives because I send them all to him, and he does such an amazing job on it. So yeah, it's got that, and this bike just has everything already done to it. All the services are going to be done. I will be putting new tires on this bike prior to it going out the door, because these are, it's got a Metzler in the front, one of those crappy 880s that I can't stand, and you know, that's a really kind of a slippy tire to begin with. It's mostly worn out. The rear tire is worn out. It's just about down to the wear indicators, and that's a Metzler 888 on there. So I'm going to change these out. I'm going to put a nice new set of Avons on here. What else? I don't know what else. So it's got, you know, all the fluids have been done. This bike, for somebody, is just going to be fantastic. It even comes with a, I think I'm going to sell it with a GPS. It's got a Garmin on there, and yeah, why not make somebody happy? So hey, if you guys are going to be interested in this bike, pay attention to the upcoming video. That'll be kind of like the sales thing, where I'll go through every last aspect on this particular motorcycle and, you know, send it out the door. I'll give a check on the computer real quick, and then I will start grabbing some tools so I can pull this cover off of here. Oh, one more tool. So I hope all you guys are having a lovely Friday. It's been quite the spring here in the shop. I've been really going after it when it comes to working on bikes, working on other people's stuff. I'm gonna try to get this camera down a little bit here. There we go. Bring you guys in a little closer too. Well, check this out. Another cool tool here. So I bought this tool on from Snap-on. It is it's a ratchet, of course, and it's a spinner. Just makes things a little more fun, I suppose. What I need to do is maybe do another favorite tool video, since I got rid of so many of the the Craftsman tools and all that stuff. All that stuff's out of my life now, for the most part. Still got a few which I don't use very often. I've got like a lot of the SAE stuff is still in Craftsman, because I pretty much never have to use SAE. But you got a toolbox, you got to have something, right? And it doesn't justify me spending any kind of big money on Snap-on tools to get SAE stuff, even used stuff. These things, they hold their value very well, the tools do. Another thing I did on this bike a few years ago is I replaced the plug wires on here. That's another thing that somebody will not have to do. Not really expecting that there's going to be an adjustment necessary on this. I don't think it was all that long ago that I did this, but I'm really just doing this for the next guy, maybe you. I want this bike to be as nice and as good as possible when it goes out the door. So somebody out there just has a damn nice bike. And this bike really is just damn nice. If you're wondering why don't I just keep this bike, well, I already have an LT. You guys know that. I've got my gray one, and I just love that thing. You know, I've done so much work to it over the years. I feel like I would miss it somehow, and I really do like the early model LTs. Just got a thing for them. I like the brakes on them. I like the non-integrated brakes. All right. I gotta get a little. Oh, here we go. So a little tip for you guys, for those of you out there who check your own valves. If you have an LT, use a scraper and slowly pry this away, because if you don't need to change any of the valve buckets, you won't have to re-glue that gasket on there, the valve cover gasket. You can just kind of slip in around here, kind of walk it up and around. Sometimes they're really tough to get in if they haven't been open in a while. They kind of, I don't know, cement themselves to it. This one seems to be coming off pretty quick. Yeah. Need to go grab my 19 millimeter. I think there's a way. Sorry about that noise in the background. That's my compressor kicking on. Nice to see all of you from all over the world. I see there's people here from Africa and France and Germany. I don't see anybody here from the U.S. Hopefully it's going out. Give me a shout out, you U.S. people. See where you're at. One's good. That one's good. Any of you guys got any big trips planned this year? I'm planning on going to Montana for the MOA rally. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys out there. Very much looking forward to that, since they canceled it last year due to all the BS that's going on in the world. This year they've said that they are not going to cancel it and they're going to go forward with it. So I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah, I think we're going to be good here. Nice. Very, very nice. It makes me very happy. Even on customer bikes, you know, I really like it when all these things are in spec and I don't have to go through all the work of removing the cams, pulling the buckets out. You know, yeah, it's more money when I do that, but I'd rather just not. I would rather just tell the customer that you know, their valves are good, but it's all part of it. It's all part of the ownership of these things. All right. See, now I don't have to re-glue all those things, because they were glued the last time, and the glue is still good, or the RTV. Good till next time. So I bought this bike last year, and it's been sitting. It was sitting outside in the winter. I had to let it just sit until I could get to it. I had so much work in here. Well, now it's spring, and I forced a break on other bikes. I really just, you know, tried to schedule so I could get to this thing. So I've given myself a few days to take care of all the services on here that I need to. So again, if one of you guys are interested in this bike, if you bought this bike, you would be very, very pleased. It really is going to be, it'd be like an LT that I would want to buy, that even though I already did. It's one that if I were shopping for another LT or a new LT, or you know, a new to me LT, I would love it if it had all of the stuff that this bike has had done. This bike has more stuff done to it than my own bike. Especially when it comes to that radio. I think that's a pretty costly thing. I'll probably try to add up all of the things that I guess don't need to get done on this motorcycle, and bring that into the equation of, you know, what is it worth? Not to necessarily, you know, charge for all those things, because they've already been paid for, but just what are you getting? You know, what are you getting for value? You know, when I get a lot of questions from guys. Oh, you know, I got this I'm looking at this 2001 LT, and it's got, you know, umpteen thousand miles on it, and how much is it worth, or am I paying too much? Well, this one's right in the middle of the road. It's got, you know, 50,000 some miles on it. It's got it's an 05, so it's right smack in the middle. It's in really good condition. Paintwork is really nice on it. It's not without its flaws, but this one also has every single upgrade that I can think of. I don't know what else to do on this thing, including new tires. Oh, I just put a new rotor on it yesterday, and new rear pads. The rotor was looking a little shady, and it had that cowbell noise, that wonderful noise that we all just know and love. So got rid of that. Service the linkage on here. Yeah, I'll like I said, I'll go through the whole thing. See, getting a lot of questions on the questions or comments over there, but I'll finish this first and then go over and take a look. It's kind of weird to be working on a bike that isn't anyone's in particular other than mine, you know, and but one that is going to be somebody's out there. Hopefully whoever gets it just enjoys this thing as much as the last guy did. I kind of saw the writing on the wall years ago on this bike that it was going to be in here for a clutch eventually. It started leaking just a little bit, you know, between the transmission and the transmission carrier or whatever that is. I guess the bell housing I call it. And I could see there was a little bit of oil seeping down right behind the engine. So I told the guy, you know, a couple of years ago, I'm like, yeah, it's going to be in here for a clutch. But once you get that done, this bike is absolutely sorted out. Everything is done. All right. I'm going to go over there and check on your comments, and I'm going to have a look to see when the last time I changed the spark plug was. All right, just popped a little look at your comments. Nice to see all of you. Ogre, good to see you in there. Glad your dog's doing okay. So I gotta just look to see when I did the All right, looks to be that it was about 18,000 miles ago. I know I put the NGK plugs in here, so they're good for at least 24,000. So I am not going to change those right now. That will be, so whoever gets this, if you're watching, you know, the future owner of this, change out the spark plugs at your next oil change. That would be a good time to do that. That's 6,000 miles. So yeah, not due. The other things that are not due at all on this, because I just did them recently, were the air and gas filter. They've only got like 6,000 miles on them. There's barely anything. So whoever gets this, you will get a copy of all the records of all the things that have been done. That is something I wish, oh do I wish, people would include in their sale, you know, and these dealers, I really wish they would allow the records to go with the bike, you know, stay with the bike. It really helps guys like me who work on these things to be able to not overcharge people, you know, or charge for things that just aren't necessary. You know, so if somebody just did a air filter, for example, and you know, then you got to charge to get in there and change the air filter. It just seems it's kind of wasteful sometimes, I guess. All right. Can't think of anything else that I need to really do on this other than get the tires on here. I take this sucker out for a ride. Really like this color too. Kind of like that blue with a little bit of silver and gray in it. I don't know what they called that color, but it's pretty darn nice. I still gotta, like I said, just put the rear tire on it, but oh, this thing even has some reflectives here. I've never seen these before, these reflective panels in the color of the bike. It's pretty much invisible unless it's nighttime. I still gotta put my Kirk's Motorrad on here. It's got the I did upgrade the HID on here. You can see the Hyper Pro springs in there. Oh, I've rebuilt the center stand control and replaced this motor on here. Yeah, I can't think of too much else here that I need to do. Oh, this thing has the unobtainium right there. These are, I call them the ultimate hen's teeth. According to when I put these on, I installed these on this guy's bike. Those were, according to the guy that makes them or made them, the very last pair of LT armrests that I got to put on there. And those were no joke. Those things definitely took some work to put on there. All right. Would you change a good fuel pump on an 05 LT with 30,000 miles for peace of mind? No. No, I would not. Nope. If it was a good fuel pump, not a chance. I would check the lines though inside the tank. I would at least open it up and change the filter if you haven't changed that. Stretch those lines, you know, take them and go backwards with them and see if you see any little splits. If you start to see any kind of little splitting in the rubber, then change that as well. Whether you put the OE lines on there or you put on the ones you can get over at Beamer Boneyard, they're like, I don't know, like a corrugated plastic or something, or PVC. I don't know, they're pretty stout and those will never go bad. I put those on Ogre's bike. Ask Ogre how he likes those. I'm sure they work great. Let's see here. No center stand needed. What do you mean? You got to put it on the center stand, otherwise it smokes like a beast. That's always what's your name there? El Chino. I see you're a BMW tech. Yeah, I've got a video out there on how to rebuild the transmission if that's what it's in there for. But if you went to tech school, you probably already know how to do that, and hell, I could probably learn something from you. So, thanks for being here. Software update fixed the problem on a GT. Bill K, will a software update fix the throttle problem on a GT? On an 06, are you referring to does it have like a hesitation in it, or is it real twitchy? If it is, I think that a throttle or a software update could help. I have an 07 GT, and I actually started editing that video, which eventually you guys will see it, but I went to fix that issue, and I had to put in one of those, what are they called? They're like, it's called a booster plug. Yeah, that's it. Booster plug. And what it does is it essentially tells the bike that it is much colder outside than it actually is. So it uses a different fuel map, or it maps it differently, and it really calmed that bike down. I had that problem. It was really quite uncomfortable, almost a little unrideable on the 07 GT, K1200 GT. And the problem is that BMW has leaned them out so much. I think they leaned out that bike so far. I don't know if it had to meet up with cafe standards or what the deal was, but you either were speeding up or slowing down. It was very difficult to go at constant speed without being in cruise control. Anyways, once I put that booster plug in, man, that just overnight just changed that whole situation. The bike is still just as powerful. It doesn't get any worse mileage, but I think it runs just a little bit more rich, and it really has dramatically helped that thing. It was a good fix, so I'll put that video out if I haven't already. Is it an airbox problem? No, like I said, I think the computer is reading that it's 80 degrees or whatever inside your airbox. I think part of the issue too is that airbox sensor is located basically right on top of the engine. So it's always going to be reading really warm. Just for the hell of it, when I had my GT in here, I put it on my GS 911 tool, and just to see how much temperature it was different, you know. So before I put the booster plug on, I ran the cycle, I looked at the raw data, and it was showing the actual ambient temperature. It was like 72 degrees or something in here. After I put that booster plug on, I did the same test without starting the bike, without doing anything, and it was reading that it was like 100 below 0 Celsius. So like it's astronomically cold, and I like that because now the bike doesn't run bad at all. It's just super smooth. It's easy to handle through the corners and everything. You know, when you get back on the gas, it doesn't feel like you're gonna lose it because you're just automatically giving it too much gas. It really helped a lot. So guys, if you have one of those, I'd really recommend one of those booster plugs, and I think in my video I state that. Yeah, the 888 tires, they look pretty good. I haven't owned a set of those because I don't think I'm not wealthy. It's you know, they're so costly, those things. Metzler, Continental, Michelin, all those are just ridiculous pricing for those tires. But for those of you guys that enjoy them out there, yeah, good. One tire that looks really interesting, I may still try it, especially if they come out with a front tire for the LT, is the new Metzler Cruise Tech tire. You guys should check that out. You know, pull it up on your computer, take a look at the Cruise Tech. It is properly weight rated for the bike. It's 160, 70, 79 reinforced. So it is a bias ply, but it looks pretty good. It looks like a good tread pattern on there, something that's not going to wear out too fast or wear out really strange, like the what is it? The Avon 3DXM tire kind of gets quite a scalp look to it after 5,000 miles or so. I really like the look of that tire. I thought I was going to try one of the front tires until I went onto the website and, of course, they don't make that size. Why would they make a 120/70/17? It's only the most popular front tire size in the world by far. So they don't make it. Just like Shinko doesn't make it. You know, my favorite rear tire, that 777 HD. Love that rear tire. God, that is just such a nice tire. But of course they don't make the front tire. Why would they do that? You know, so you got to mismatch them. I'm currently running a Dunlop, the Road Smart 3 in the front on mine. I just ordered up an Avon, actually, an Avon Spirit ST tire. I really like the look of that one. It's got some subtle differences between the 3DXM and the Spirit ST, and I've installed that on a few bikes already, and I really like the look of that tire. So my next tire set that I'm gonna go with is going to be the Spirit ST in the front, and when my Dunlop wears out, the one that I have on there currently, I may go with that Cruise Tech and then do a review on it just to try it out. You know, it's supposed to be a really hard wearing, long wearing tire that's got really good grip. I don't know if you can have all those worlds at one time on a bike, especially on an LT. But you know, these things aren't like, even if they are a little bit slippery, they're not like totally overpowered where, you know, like say like a GTL or something with 160 horsepower. These things only have, you know, 100 to 105 horsepower. It's probably a lot less than that at the rear wheel. I don't know. Well, all right, you suck. Thanks a lot, Scott. That's awesome. Appreciate that. Let's see. All right, well, I'm going to probably cut it here. I'm going to get back to work on this thing, just starting to put the bike back together and maybe take this thing out for a little spin. So, guys, thanks so much for watching my little live stream today. It was a little impromptu one. Good to see everybody out there, and stay frosty. Have a good one, guys. Take care.